With the way the society is turning out to be now is just so dysfunctional. The way the society is moving, I fear for our kids yet unborn, and I fear for the upcoming generation, because the way it's going right now is just scary. Giving birth to kids, and they just come into a world where the original plan for it wasn't supposed to be like this. But here we are, we find ourselves in this dysfunctional state, I would say, where people are just okay to being what it wasn't supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone is just okay being angry all the time. Someone is just okay not even knowing how to love. Someone is okay just not being able to care for others. And it's just so dysfunctional to a point where, some people are just stepping back to themselves. And at the end of the day, sometimes you can't even blame some people because of where they're coming from and how they even grew up, because they grew up in a dysfunctional family. And at the end of the day, they hated it. Yes, they didn't like it, but you not liking something doesn't mean you won't be like that. You might hate something, but at the end of the day, you might end up being like what you hate. Because if you hate something and you don't want to be like it, you have to take the steps on how not to be like what you hate. But just by you hating the thing, by just merely hating something, doesn't mean you might not end up being like that. But we live in a society where we hate a lot of things, but at the end of the day, we end up being like that. Like, I'll say, for example, some of us hate how we grew up or like how our parents treated us while growing up. Or some of us might be, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but be coming out from like families that are low-key dysfunctional, and we came out from abusive relationships or toxic relationships, or we watch our dads or our moms, going back and forth in relationship, or we came out from broken homes and we just didn't like it and we just hated every piece of it. But we find ourselves having those traits and those patterns and those characters and those tendencies to be like where we coming from, and the fact that we hate it doesn't stop us from becoming like it, but except you start taking steps not to become like it, like start taking steps to fix these things. I promise you, it's sad to say, but you only become like it because you saw it and you lived it. You probably just become like it. But it's just so fascinating how like we tend to cover the areas where we're not doing good in and just pretend like everything is okay. But whereas we know deep down we're bleeding in areas, but we tend to just overlook the areas and just the areas where we're doing great in, we just focus on those areas and just pinpoint all our focus. It's like you just take light and just shine it all on the area where you're doing good at. You just point the light and you just focus it all on it and just ignore the part where you're doing so bad, or ignore the part where you're bleeding in, not forgetting that one day you're going to be able to raise up kids. That's if you want to, but one day you'll be able to raise up kids and the same way you grew up and you didn't fix it, you might end up just transferring it to your kids. And we live in a world now where we're just going in cycles and it's the same patterns keep going on. It's like Adam and Eve sinning in the Garden of Eden is a family. The family is the basic functional unit of the society. When one family gets it wrong, it's a pattern. Right from the beginning, one family got it wrong. Adam and Eve, they got it wrong, and that's why we're here. The same thing. So we see it's just patterns. This family gets it wrong, they raise up kids, and the kids, out of ignorance, or they just decided not to fix these things, and they also got it wrong, and now they raise up kids in a dysfunctional home, and now the kids are raised up and they didn't fix the issue and they also get it wrong. So it's like parents to kids becoming parents, and the kids that become parents also raise up kids that are it's just patterns. And except there is someone who grows up and builds and takes that intentional and vocal decision and taking the right steps and saying, I can be different. I want you to see me. When you look at me, you can't literally link me or connect me to where I'm from, or connect me to the kind of family I'm from. Yes, my family might be dysfunctional, but I'm taking up upon myself and I'm taking up that decision that where I'm from is not going to define who I become. Where I'm from is not going to define what I become in life, or it's not going to define how my kids are being raised. But you're just taking that bold step to be like, I might be from a dysfunctional family, I might be from a home that wasn't good, but not blaming our parents. It's like, I'm not saying all this so you can be like, oh yeah, my parents didn't get it. No, it's not like pointing out what your parents did wrong, but it's like you looking at the situation critically and saying that, yeah, my parents tried their best, but I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different, not only just for myself, but even for the kids that I'm going to be raising, that are going to be placed under me. For that reason, I choose to be different. I choose to get it right. Yeah, they might have got it wrong, but I thank them for raising me up like this. But I choose to be better. I choose to live right. I choose to live according to scriptures. I choose to live the God way. I choose to do relationships like how God designed it to be. I choose to live life like how God designed it to be. The kingdom way, not just regularly, but I choose to. So I can raise up godly kids that will be able to influence the society, that is be able to stand up, It's just so fascinating how the society is turning out to be. Sometimes it just gets so overwhelming and you're like, oh, it's just a lot of dysfunctional people. And the issue is sometimes some people are just so dysfunctional and they don't even realize how it is, and they don't really realize that they actually have this kind of traits or this kind of characters in them, except and unless a situation shows up and now you have to react to that situation. Then you realize, oh, I'm actually sick in this area. It's like someone having anger issues and they don't know they have anger issues, except now a situation just pops up and now they have to react to it, and they start reacting out of anger. And then you got to sit back and be like, wait, that's not me. Why am I acting like? You got to come to that point and be, why am I like this? Why am I? So you have to go back to the roots and really trace these things, because most of these things dysfunctionalities in our lives, if you don't go back to the root to literally trace where is this from, where did I pick up this along the way? Is it from my parents? Is it from growing up? Is it from experience? Is it from, a lot of us pick up things from social media and we just run with it. We don't even fact check these things. We don't even check these things. Is it even right? Is it even right? We just go somewhere, some random page, and because we just believe in it and it aligns with what we think, and we're like, yeah. You don't even fact check it with scriptures and be like, is this scriptural? Or is this someone else's opinion about things, or is it scriptural? The fact that it aligns with what you think doesn't make it scriptural, right? It doesn't make it the kingdom way, right? You got to go back to scriptures and fact check what he's saying. Is it true? Even listening to me, you have to go back and fact check what he's saying. Is it actually true? Is it actually right? A lot of us just pick up things and we just run up with it, and it just keeps us in that loop of just being dysfunctional in areas. You can be doing well in one area, but you bleed in another area. The area you're bleeding in is much more important. I would say is much more important to your life. It's everything that pertains to life and godliness. You got to fix it. It's hard sometimes to fix these things, but I'll tell you, it's not an easy road trying to fix this dysfunctionality. So it's going to take you nights of studying, it's going to take you nights of praying, giving it to God every day, and taking that bold step every day and telling yourself, believing and living in faith, I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different. I came from a dysfunctional family, but a dysfunctional family is not going to come out of me. I'm different. I'm not like that. I'm not like this. I'm not like that. It takes time, but it takes intentionality. It takes you being intentional about it, and it takes you being prayerful about it and well disciplined to come out of certain things like this. It takes a lot, but if you're willing to go down it, at the end of the day, you're going to reap the fruits of it. You're going to reap the fruits of it. It's like making a decision. It all boils down to making your decision. If you make a decision today and be like, I want to be different, of course, it's going to come with its own challenges, but if you can sail through it, and of course, you're not walking alone. Literally, God is going to help you walk out of these things. The moment you start seeing it as being impossible, then you're defeated. But if you see a possibility, the Bible, they always say where there's a way, where there's a will, there's always a way. If you have that willingness to come out of these things, and you see that there's a possibility in Christ to come out of these things. The Bible says we have been called out of all tribes, called out of all nations to be different. We're not regular. As a Christian, you're not regular. You're not regular. Even as a non-believer, there are these things that affect us and affects how we relate to people. You might just be pushing away people out of your life unknowingly because probably you have a dysfunctionality that you don't even know. You don't even know how to care for people. Literally, you're like, I don't know how to love people. There are people like that. Honestly, there are people like that they don't know how to love people. They don't know how to show care to people. They don't, they're like, I can't receive care. If you care for them, they don't know how to receive it. They might perceive it another way, but it's just because they are dysfunctional, but sometimes they don't even know, so they tend to push people. It's like, I'm trying to care for you, but you don't even reciprocate it. You don't even care about me, so I'm just going to leave. That's how some people are like. I care about you, but it's like each time I try, but you're not even showing effort, I'm just going to stop. But at times some people are trying so hard, but they don't know. So it's like you try to relate with people, but you're just pushing them away from you. You're pushing relationships. You just keep spoiling relationships, and you just keep going into being toxic, but without you knowing. But if you can rise up and fix those issues, the more you keep growing and just ignoring those things, the more it keeps compounding, and then it becomes a bigger issue by the time you want to try to delete it. By the time you try to fix those things, it might become a bigger issue. So today is the best day to start. Yesterday was a good day to start fixing those issues, but today, right now, is the best time to start fixing those things. It just takes you to be able to analyze your life and just look at the issues that you're dealing with, and once you identify these issues, you just try to take steps. Seek help if you have to. Talk to someone if you have to. Go to therapy if you have to. But just help yourself. The best and the most profound prayer I've ever heard someone say is, God help me. Jesus help me. Holy Spirit help me. Help me, God. Help me, God. That's like the most profound prayer. Each morning when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is, God help me. God help me. Anytime I'm faced with something or a challenge, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, God help me. God help me. God help me. That should be your posture, right? That should just literally be your posture, because it's like, I can't really come out of this alone. If it's by my own power, I'm just going to stay there because I just don't know how to go about it. But God help me. God help me. Like Peter trying to drown, and it's like, and Jesus stretches out his hand to pick him out. It's just so fascinating, man. It's like the moment you cry out to God, help me, and you're willing and you're intentional about it, I promise you, God is going to show up. He's going to show up. And when God shows up, He's going to show up in His majesty and in His full glory. Oh, you know, it's only broken people that need a doctor. So don't be scared to ask for help. You never might know who is going to show up for you, who God is going to send your way to help you. But if you don't ask for help, God is going to send sometimes God sends people to our path to help us, but because we have so much dysfunctionality in us, we just push them away, and they're trying to help, but the way we perceive their help is different, and we just push these people away. And God is like, I'm trying to help you, but you are not seeing it that way. So you keep pushing the people I'm sending your way. You keep pushing the people I'm sending your way to bless you. You keep pushing the people I'm sending your way to, just to care for you, to show you love. But you keep pushing these people. And God is like, oh my, when is it going to change? When is it going to come around? I'm just here to say, you have a choice to be different. I just want to tell you, you have a choice to be different. You can be different. Despite whatever you've been through in life, you can be different, and you have a chance, you have a choice. You have a chance, you have a choice. And with the help of God, you can raise up better kids. The fact that you came from a dysfunctional family doesn't mean a dysfunctional family has to come out of you. The fact that you came out of a toxic relationship doesn't have to come out from you. You have a chance, you have a choice to fix it, and you can fix it with the help of God. You can fix it. Just embrace it. Embrace the dysfunctionality that you have. Embrace the issues that you have, and start dealing with them. Start addressing them rather than running away from it. Embrace it and address it. The earlier you address it, like I said, today is a good day to start. Now is the best time to start. Yesterday was a good time. Today is the best time to start addressing those things. Thank you. Make sure if this video blessed you, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you check us out on our social media platforms. Thank you. Peace.